The call didn't come from a phone. It came from the throat of the man I had just buried. Julian stood in the rain-soaked cemetery of Highgate, staring at the fresh mound of earth. His pocket vibrated with a rhythmic, wet thumping that matched the pulse in his own terrified neck. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small, silver music box he had stolen from the tomb. It wasn't playing a melody. It was broadcasting a heartbeat. A voice, muffled by layers of soil and wood, whispered from the tiny gears. "You took the wrong soul, Julian." A shadow detached itself from a nearby mausoleum. It was the gravedigger, a man whose face looked like a topographic map of a battlefield. "The box is a tether," the old man croaked. "Every note it plays draws him 1 inch closer to the surface. And he's a fast climber." Julian turned to run, but the ground beneath his boots felt soft, like rotting fruit. He looked down and saw skeletal fingers poking through the grass, stitching themselves into his shoelaces. The dead were not rising. They were pulling him down into their silent world. "What do you want?" Julian screamed at the music box. The lid snapped shut, biting his finger. A drop of his blood hit the silver casing, and the heartbeat doubled in speed. The air turned freezing, smelling of lilies and the ozone of an approaching electrical storm. The gravedigger laughed, a sound like dry bones snapping. "He wants his heartbeat back. You're not a thief anymore, boy. You're a donor." The old man pointed a rusted shovel at Julian's chest. The silver box began to glow with a sickly, subterranean green light. Suddenly, the ground erupted. A hand, pale and translucent as parchment, gripped Julian's throat. It didn't squeeze. It felt like it was absorbing his warmth. He watched in horror as his own skin turned gray, while the hand began to flush with a vibrant, living pink. The trade was happening in real time. Julian's vision blurred as his strength drained into the silver box. He realized the box was a reservoir, a vessel used by the ancient London elite to swap their dying bodies for fresh ones. He was the perfect, unsuspecting host. With a surge of adrenaline, Julian slammed the music box against a stone headstone. The silver cracked, and a black, oily smoke hissed out. The grip on his throat loosened as the entity inside the box wailed, a sound that echoed through the hollows of every grave. The smoke didn't vanish. It swirled around the gravedigger, who fell to his knees in prayer. "The master is hungry," the old man cried. Julian didn't wait to see the feast. He scrambled over the iron fence, his lungs burning as he reached the gaslit street. He ran until he reached his apartment in Soho, locking every bolt and drawing the heavy velvet curtains. He collapsed into his chair, his heart still racing. He was safe. The box was broken. The entity was trapped back in the cold damp of Highgate soil. Then he heard it, a faint, rhythmic thumping coming from inside his own wall. Thump, 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 thump. It wasn't his heart. He looked at the mirror and saw a silver gear embedded under the skin of his forehead, slowly turning with a mechanical click. The box hadn't broken. It had merely relocated. He felt his fingers grow cold and spindly, his reflection beginning to smile a smile that wasn't his. He picked up a pen and began to write a list of names. The first name on the list was the man who would replace him. The cycle of the Highgate elite was preserved. Julian sat in the dark, his mind fading as the mechanical heartbeat took over. He was the new gravedigger, and he had a very long night of digging ahead of him. The London fog swallowed the house in a silent embrace.